everybody see those slides?
Yep, all with me. We're getting a few nods. Yep.
Fantastic. Okay, so we are going to discuss social media tonight. One of the things we're not going to do tonight, because there just frankly isn't enough time, is to go into the nitty gritty and basics of how to set up individual accounts. So if anyone was looking for a how-to step-by-step guide, how to set up a new Facebook account, how to set up a new Instagram account, I've put a link here in this slide. You'll have access to these after the presentation. This takes you to a website called Moz, and Moz produce some of the best beginner's guides to social media that you can get for free on the internet. I think this is about 36 pages long, so if anyone's needing some reading material while waiting for lambs, then I'd highly recommend it. Why do we use social media? Social media mainly is used for the two categories that we discussed at the beginning in the poll. We mainly use it for either personal or for business use. Both ways of using social media are about storytelling, whether that's announcing the birth of a child, grandchild, an upcoming wedding, or simply what you had for breakfast, or if it's telling the story of your farm, your produce, your provenance. That's what social media is for. You'll all have heard the phrase, a picture tells 1,000 words. Pictures are gold dust on social media. They are dynamite. They are the decider of whether your content is going to be shared or not. There are some examples on this slide of pictures that do incredibly well, the types of pictures that do incredibly well, and we will be showing further examples throughout this evening. So why are we talking about social media at the moment? 96% of internet users visited a social platform or messaging service in the past month. The reason that this is worth discussing is because we have been a year to the day in some form of lockdown restriction, and people are living more and more from their phones. People are socializing more through social media and exploring the world more through social media than they ever have before in the last year. What that means is, regardless of whether you're using social media to promote your business or for personal reasons to communicate, share stories, and connect with people, now is the best possible time for you to get involved and do that. 77% of those internet users actively engaged with or contributed to social media in the past month. What that means is they aren't just hovering, they aren't just lurking, looking to see what's happening. These people are liking, commenting, sharing, clicking through, making purchases, making bookings, or posting their own content. And the average user apparently spends 1 hour and 50 minutes on social media each day. Now, I know for me that can sometimes be as high as 6 hours per day, but I get the excuse that it's my job. I'm not entirely sure that my partner has the same excuse. The first platform we're going to talk about is Facebook. If you use Facebook for business currently or would like to improve the way that you market your business through Facebook, I've linked here to a Facebook marketing guide at HubSpot. You can click through there. It's a free guide and it gives you the very simple breakdown of the key things to think about when you're marketing. Now, I have 3 top tips for Facebook. These are relevant and to be remembered whether you're using Facebook for personal or for business use. So the first most common mistake on Facebook is people use it as a blog space. So you'll see people writing huge long posts full of information, opinion pieces, sometimes political pieces. Those posts don't get a good amount of share. They don't get a good amount of interaction. And technologically speaking, the algorithms on Facebook actively seek to avoid posts that contain very, very heavy word count. So the best thing that you can do with Facebook when you're posting is include a great quality picture, a video, or a link through to another website or another piece of content. Facebook works visually, and posts that have rich content in them, rich content is photos, images, videos, etc., perform 10 times better than posts that are just written word. The third thing to remember for Facebook, whether you're using it for personal or business, is likes. And that's not just getting likes for the stuff that you post, but it's also about liking things in your community. So go and find businesses that you like. Find businesses close to you. They might be in your community, they might be in the same industry, they could even be in different countries, but find people that will have a similar audience that you want to have. If you start liking their posts and engaging with them, they're more likely to engage with you, meaning their audience automatically becomes your audience. So when we discuss things like content reach and how to improve engagement, liking other people's posts is the quickest, easiest, free thing that you can do. And most people don't actually appreciate how much of a difference that will bring to their page and their content. What we have here on the screen are two different accounts, Cars Billington and the Veg Shed. These are both set up as business accounts. If you're currently using Facebook just from a personal account, you'll see that these do look quite different. What are the benefits of having your business set up as a specific business account on Facebook? Down the left-hand side, you'll see you can direct people to your website, you can leave your phone number, you can give all of your contact details, you can give your opening hours, you can geotag, you can drop a pin on a map. It is effectively a virtual or digital shop window for your business. Why is that better than using a personal page? It depends on the business model that you have, but generally speaking, you don't want to mix business with pleasure. If you're posting any kind of opinions, it could be funny things, cute things, resharing photos. Some of the things that you would share with family and friends are not going to be appropriate for your business audience. Therefore, separating the two is very much advised.
If you're looking, had a quick question there from somebody wondering what a geotag was.
Absolutely, great question. So geotagging is a term that basically describes marking your location digitally. So you'll see there's Apple Maps or Google Maps on both of these Facebook profile pages. What they've also done is when they post a photo, they can say where it's come from or where it's going. That also creates a location or geotag, a geographical tagged location. What that means is people can use search terms on social media for around me or close to or in Ayrshire. People are more likely to see your business, your posts, if you are geotagging them as to where you are. Geotagging is important for Facebook for business pages, and it's important, very important for Instagram. The one key thing you have to have in place to be able to geotag effectively is you have to have your business details up to date on Google registry. So if you Google your business, does it drop a pin exactly where you are? If so, happy days, crack on. If not, drop us another question and I can tell you how to sort that.
Thanks, Kerry. That was a great answer.
So if you're going to set up a Facebook for Business page, you'll see over here on the right-hand side, you have a circle here. This is my colleague's business over Kim Fawn's Farm Livery. You might be aware of them. It's in Perthshire. This is Callum. He's logged in to his own personal Facebook account. On the right-hand side of the page, you'll see it says Your Pages over Kim Fawn's Farm Livery. And at the top middle of the page, you'll see a little flag with a 1 on it. What this is showing you is that your notifications for your business page will still show on your personal page. That's where you see them in your notifications feed. However, when you go to view that notification, it takes you into the business page for Facebook. So no customer on the outside would be able to see the personal page that it's set up from. It just makes it easier for you to manage directly from your phone or laptop. If you don't have a page set up already, you can go into Pages. This is easier to do on a desktop than a phone or tablet, but it is possible to do it from a phone or tablet. And you click Create New Page. When you're creating a business page, it will ask for category information. It will ask you what type of business you are, what industry you're in, and the more information that you can put in, the easier it's going to be for people to find you. There is a tendency for people to skip over certain questions when filling out their new page information, whether they think they'll come back to it at some point or they think it's not important. But the more that you put in, the more ways there is for people to find you, and the easier it's going to be to manage it in an ongoing basis. Once you've done that, this is your finished page. This is what your business page could look like. So you'll see here up again at the top, you can still see that flag with the 1 in the red circle. That's your notification for your business page. You'll see here that my colleague Callum has put his mobile number, he's put his email address for contact. He said they're always open. That's something quite important to note. If you're going to say you're always available to be contacted, you need to set up an auto reply on your Facebook messages, which is edit send message. That then allows you, if I were to send over Kim Fawn's Farm Livery an inquiry at 2 o'clock in the morning saying, how much would it be for a week? Then I will get an automatic reply saying, we usually check our messages between 9 to 5 and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. The photos that have been used on this page are absolutely beautiful. They're constantly using what they have and showing it in its best possible light. That's 100% the rule when it comes to your business page. Does anyone have any specific questions on setting up a Facebook business page or anything about their own page that they'd like to ask before I move on to groups and communities?
There is a question just came in through the chat, Kerry, which says, if a business page has been set up under an individual, can this be changed to another person at a later stage? So say there was a change of staff member.
That's a fabulous question. So what you can do is set up admin rights or administrator rights. So that means if it was set up under your personal account, you could then add as many people as you like as an administrator. And then if you decided to step away from the business or if you were no longer involved, you can hand over permanent administrative rights to somebody else to run the page. If you're in the position where you're working with or for somebody else and it's a legacy account, taking administration rights and then going through to Facebook to ask them to transfer permissions of the page over is quite easy to do if you have some paperwork showing that you are now in ownership of the business. Did that answer your question?
Well,
Yes,
we just
thank
hear
you.
back if that answered. There is another one that's slightly on the back. So saying, can more than one person run a business page, which we've covered, yes, under the administrators, but there's a question, is there any disadvantage to have more than one person doing this? So having, maybe multiple administrators?
Yes, great question again. So yes, there is a disadvantage when it comes to overall management and when it comes to your brand tone of voice. So as long as you have something in place to a code of conduct almost for all of the people that are administrators, so they understand how they should interact with your customers and what type of content they should be posting, then as long as you're still involved in the process, theoretically, you should be fine with multiple admins. Some other problems that we do sometimes see with multiple admins, particularly when people are there's something exciting happening, you could get 5 posts at once because everybody wants to talk about it, and that actually has a negative impact on the overall content that you post. So I would say multiple admins shouldn't be a problem as long as they understand completely what you want them to do and you're all working to a communications plan. So you all know who's meant to be posting content or answering messages and when you're meant to be doing that.
There's just been a couple of other questions as well, Kerry. There's one from saying that they struggle to operate a business page from a phone. Is there any advice for that, or are they just not that well set up to be dealt with on phones?
There's an app, a free app you can use called Pages Manager. And it's an additional app to Facebook, but it's been designed to make it easier to manage your business page separately from your personal page. It's fairly self-explanatory. However, that guide that I linked to at the beginning from Moz has a really good section on Pages Manager in it and will tell you how to transfer your accounts to that for easier management.
Excellent. That will certainly send around the PowerPoint afterwards, and hopefully that will help that one. And maybe that might also be the answer to this next question, which is how do you add multiple admin rights?
So if you go into your, I don't have it on a slide, unfortunately, because I didn't foresee that one coming, but effectively on your home page, you go into your settings. Under your settings, you're looking for account control, account admin, and then you'll usually get the option to make an admin. The person has to like the page and follow the page to be made an admin. And perhaps that's something that if it would be useful, I could record a little screen capture of me adding somebody as an admin to a business page, and we could circulate that tomorrow.
Yep, no, I think we're getting some thumbs up for that, Kerry. So I think between the two of us, we can get that sorted tomorrow and circulated around the participants here.
Fantastic.
Okay, I think that is the end of the questions for the moment. So I'll let you go on to the next section, Kerry. Thank you.
Very good questions. Thank you very much for them. So the next thing we're going to discuss with Facebook is Facebook groups and communities. So Facebook groups and communities, I personally think are actually the highest value of Facebook as a social media network. Whether you're using it for personal reasons or whether you're using it for business reasons, the functionality and the connectivity of being in a specific or niche group the benefits are huge. So we could be talking about selling. So for example, farm machinery for sale in Scotland. That's a very easy marketing route because everybody who's part of that group is interested specifically in buying farm machinery in Scotland. It's the kind of group where people know what they're coming to see, they're expecting to see it, and they're there for a reason. That's when you talk about a funnel in marketing. If you imagine a big wide neck and then a little narrow funnel at the bottom, that's where these people are. They've gone all the way through and they're ready right at the bottom of the funnel and they want to spend money. Facebook in general, people tend to be at that top end of the funnel. They're still sort of floating about and they haven't made any decisions on what route they're going to go down yet. Facebook groups are amazing as long as you know which ones you should be in and which ones your other customer groups might be in. So knowing, for example, here's an example of the Farms, Croft and Smallholding Scotland. And we have somebody here who is looking for a 1.52 ton mini digger. However, they are not a member of Farm Machinery for Sale in Scotland. So interesting crossover. If you have one group, you will quite often see people recommending or suggesting other groups. The more groups in common that you can become a member of and be a part of, and the more often you can take part in them, the more often people will see your account. You may well also be seeing people in Facebook groups and feeds at the moment getting little symbols beside their names, and it might be visual storyteller, it might be top fan, it might be content creator. This is Facebook's way of recognizing people that contribute in a meaningful way to the platform. You can't buy one of those, they are just given out based on how much you actually interact. But what that kind of does is it signifies a kite mark of trust. So for other people in those groups who are looking to work with you, alongside you, buy from you, those little marks or recognitions of your input are like a kite mark of trust for them that they can work with you. Do we have any questions on groups?
No, I don't think there's any coming through into the chat at the moment, Kerry.
So I'll move on and talk about Twitter as the second platform. So Twitter, again, I've linked here a guide written by Twitter itself, a guide to how to use Twitter, some top tips for the use of Twitter. Firstly, try to learn the difference between quote tweeting and retweeting. So retweeting is when you just regurgitate somebody else's content without adding anything to it. Quote tweeting is when you copy somebody else's content, but you say something to them or you add value to the conversation in the process. Retweeting is generally considered fairly poor practice and has very, very bad engagement rates. The more often you purely retweet, the more likely you are to lose followers. If you quote tweet, however, people can see that you're adding value to the conversation and adding something into the discussion. Therefore, that benefits your engagement rates. Twitter is exactly the same as Facebook. Post with rich content, photos, videos, or links through to other websites perform far, far better than tweets that are just written word. And the third thing I think is really important to mention when it comes to Twitter is it's effectively one of the only uncensored platforms. with Facebook and Facebook for Business particularly, you get the option to approve or remove comments. With Instagram and Instagram for Business, you have the option to approve or remove comments. On Twitter, it's a bit of a black hole and it's an open free for all. So people are more likely to use Twitter as a way to vent or let off frustration. We see generally the type of people who use Twitter being industry bodies. So, for example, SAC, the Farm Advisory Service, NFUS, QMS, Scotland Food and Drink, RSABI, all of these industry bodies tend to be on Twitter. And if you're interested in things like funding or grants or new initiatives or environmental initiatives, if you're interested in research, development, and training courses, that tends to be where things are on Twitter. Twitter is also interestingly used quite significantly in specifically sheep sales. And this is something that it doesn't really follow through to too many other industry sections, but there are more accounts on Twitter for sheep sales than there are for any other area of agriculture or livestock, which I just think is an interesting aside. But unfortunately, the majority of Twitter is used for people to make inflammatory statements and complain. Here are some examples of some tweets that have had some really good engagement. So you'll see here, this is a beautiful photo of the Hebrides that's had 34 retweets, 614 likes. Lantra, again, this is a beautiful image. And what they've done, if you look in their tweet, is they've tagged lots of different organisations. So they've got Rural Matters, Scottish Government, Civil Tech Scotland, Skill Seeders, Scott Rural Net, Scottish Rings. What that does is it increases the likelihood of these organisations liking the tweet, but also maybe quote tweeting or retweeting it. And that pushes their content further out. And another couple examples of some really nice ways that Twitter is used in our industry. So this is from the Farm Advisory Service Twitter. So we've got Hannah Jackson, the Red Shepherdess. This is a way to use Twitter to draw people back to our podcasts. So we're there saying, here's something, but we can also speak directly to her audience by tagging her into the post. And then we've got Armadale Farm letting us know that their calendars are available. I'm going to move on to the next platform unless there are Twitter specific questions.
There's just one in the chat there, which is what's the difference between the @ tags and the hashtags?
Great question. So let me nip back a slide here. So in the middle tweet here from Lantra, the @ tags go directly as a notification to these businesses. So if I ran the Twitter account for Rural Matters Scottish Government, I would get a notification that said, Lantra Scotland has mentioned you in their tweet. I can then click through immediately into this tweet, and that allows me to like it, to share it, to quote tweet it. If you look at the third tweet, the Rural Matter Scottish Government one, you'll see they've got hashtag farming advice and hashtag farm resilience. So hashtagging is, if you can think of it like a search term, hashtagging basically puts a search term on the post. So if somebody went to Twitter and didn't know where to start, but they knew they wanted farming advice and they searched farming advice, then this post would come up under that hashtag. So this doesn't go directly to anybody, but it makes it searchable under those words, whereas the @ tag sends it directly to a business.
That's great, Kerry. That's all the questions on Twitter, I think.
So moving on to Instagram. Again, I've attached here a HubSpot blog on specific how to use Instagram to its best for marketing. There is, as with Facebook, there is Instagram and there is Instagram for business. I would say if you are a business and intending to use Instagram for marketing purposes, I would from the outset set up your Instagram account as an Instagram for business. If you currently have an Instagram account and it's personal, you can flip over some of the features into becoming a business account. If anyone has questions on that, I'm happy to answer those as well. So the 4 things to remember with Instagram. Now, the first, if you use Instagram, you'll recognize this. It normally, the first icon here looks like a bookmark, normally sits on the right-hand side of the post. This has recently changed. This used to be barely thought about. This means save or save to collection. And this bookmark is now the #1 most powerful thing that somebody can do when they interact with your post on Instagram. So this is 4 times as powerful as 1 like on your post. So 1 save on your Instagram post is worth 4 likes on your Instagram post. What that means is that you need to produce content that people want to come back to more than once. And I have some examples of that coming up that I'll talk through. Instagram is a photo and image-based platform, photo and video-based platform. So the quality of the content that you're using there is absolutely critical and crucial. The brightly colored circle indicates the stories, live, or IGTV function of Instagram, which is the informal piece, what I like to call the behind the curtain with the Wizard of Oz. You let people see who you really are. Whereas your grid or your feed, where you post the beautiful curated images, that's the shop window. And then, of course, there's the commenting on Instagram. And this is something which a lot of businesses forget to do. Go to similar businesses, much with, as we said with Facebook, find similar businesses and comment on their content. Tell them it's great. Tell them, oh, we do something similar to this, but I really like the way you've done this. Because you're not really having that conversation with them. You're having that conversation with all of their followers. That's guerrilla advertising at its finest. So what we have here are a selection of some beautiful Instagram posts that have performed really, really well. You'll see here in the first image, Lennox of Lomond, you'll see the save icon that I was talking about here on the right-hand side for Bonnie Barnes. If you swipe through, you'll see in the middle, there's all of those dots, and that means there's more than 1 image in this Instagram post. If you were to swipe through them, you would see other images that they have posted alongside this that contain information that if somebody were going to book, they would want to come back to. Now that's key because that will make somebody go, yeah, I would like to stay there at some point in the future, and click save. Then you get an option as a user to save it in a folder as such on Instagram. That's really what you want to be doing with your content on Instagram at the moment. You'll see along the top, you'll see what I was referring to as stories. So you'll see here we've got your story, news story, Newton Farm, Castleton Farm, Appetite for Angus. You can see we follow quite a lot of farm shops. This is a question I get an awful lot, which is if I'm going to post stories on Instagram, how many should I post? I think that if you're able to post a story most days or every second day, that's how you really build a rapport and a connection with people. That's how people get to know you and your story. And people get used to seeing you every day and they want to see more of you. We do tend to see that the businesses that perform the best on Instagram are businesses that are using stories or lives quite heavily. Some other examples of some posts that have great interaction on Instagram and just like fabulous examples of something that you may see every day and think nothing of, but that is so fascinating and so beautiful to so many people. I particularly love the photo in the middle, South Powrie Farm, because the kids are in it. And a lot of people think, well, you know, kids should be off limit on a business page because that should be kept for my personal page. But if the story of your business is that it's a family business, then your family is so important to share. It's just about doing it in a really professional way. And this first photo here from Westerton Farmers is a perfect example of that. This wee toot was excited for his pumpkins and pumpkin weekend. I mean, irresistible, adorable, and the perfect way to get people to like your pictures. 160 people all over that. You'll see in the example in the middle, so that's Perth Farmers Market, Gardswell Grows Gardswell Farm. This is a brilliant example of the kind of content that you can post because they look happy. It's beautiful, it's brightly coloured, it's laid out wonderfully, everything looks delicious, but they look happy. They're happy to be there and you want to support that. You want to buy from them. And then from on the end here, I wanted to highlight this post because they have very cleverly in their caption taken it away from the milk and brought it back to the environmental aspect of what they're doing. So 10,000 single-use plastic milk bottles have been saved from landfill in a week. That's a kind of statement that people want to like, they want to share, and more importantly, they want to comment on it. I'm going to move on to talk about hashtags specifically, unless anyone has any Instagram specific questions.
I don't think there's any in the chat, Kerry, so okay to move on just now.
So when it comes to hashtags, as we've discussed, consider them as a search term. So if you were going to go to Google and type something in, you can effectively do that with a hashtag on Instagram. Now, this works in a couple of different ways for you, depending on how you're using Instagram. If you are a business posting content and you want it to reach more people, the more relevant hashtags you can use, the more people will see your content. And the more relevant the hashtags are, the more relevant the people that will be viewing your content. There's I think a common myth with social media that it's the number of likes that you get that matters. But you could have, you know, 1,000 likes on a picture and 700 of them could be from people who are not interested in your industry or your business or taking it any further. So it's the 300 from the people that may actually be customers or partners that are what actually matter. Using targeted hashtags mean that you get that quality audience, the ones that you're really looking for. Scottish farming, you'll see, is a huge 5,000 plus posts. Farm 365, 393,000 posts. So these are examples of hashtags that if you're not using them on your business at the moment, you really, really should be. I get asked all the time how you know which hashtags you should be using. And there is actually a 4-year degree in a university in Holland, which is just on the science of hashtags. I'm not suggesting anyone go and embark on a 4-year degree, but to try and shorten that for you, there's a post here from Sked Social, which gives you the tools that you need to find out which hashtags to use. And I've also linked a video here from YouTube. It's about 15 minutes long, and it's a really good tutorial on how to do your research, find the right ones, and keep posting them in the right way.
There's just been a quick question on Instagram, came in, Kerry, which is you've obviously given a link to the document on using Instagram, but does it have information about using Instagram from a desktop rather than mobiles?
No, that is a good question. Instagram really is designed to be used from your phone. It is far more user-friendly than Facebook is for phone. It doesn't require sort of other apps to make it work. Is there something specific that perhaps the person with the question, if they were able to unmute, is there something specific that you like to use desktop for?
Hi, yes, it's me. We're kind of in a mobile not spot.
Okay.
All my fantastic images are on the desktop.
Okay.
So I can do Twitter and Facebook from the desktop, no problem.
Yeah.
But I've set up the Instagram account and I am totally failing on how to make it work.
Okay, so you can technically post and edit some posts from desktop, but it is designed to work from your phone. I wonder if there's a way to link the images from your desktop back to your phone.
I could put them in I could put them in Dropbox, possibly.
Yeah. If or if you need to do it over a hard connection, there are cables you can get where you can transfer that way.
Yeah, that's how I transfer images. Right, so yeah. I can do a reverse transfer.
Yeah, exactly. And that would be, it will make your life a lot easier if you are able to do it from your phone, because Instagram is a really good question, but it has been designed to work from your palm.
Right, okay. Right, I'll look into doing that then. Thank you very much.
Feel free to drop me a line if you would like any specific help with it. I'm very happy to give you a call in the next couple of days.
That's really kind. Thank you very much.
No problem. So unless there are any other questions about Instagram or hashtags, I'm going to hand you over to Mari.
There we go. Okay, so the section I'm just going to cover is looking a little bit about how we create some eye-catching graphics for social media. So Kerry's already mentioned how images on any social media are gold, and it's great if we have some really excellent images that we can just use straight up. So here, are a few examples where they had obvious physical things they could take images of. Say, for example, here the Red Shepherdess again, she was looking to say it was book launch day, so the obvious answer is you take a picture of the book. Same with local business Glenkilry Larder. They were looking to advertise their family isolation meat pack. So it's excellent. You just unpack the meat pack, make it into a nice image, and there we go. You've got that eye-catching image to use. However, we're maybe not always the messages we're looking to share on social media. We maybe don't always have an image. We maybe the message can't be explained with an image alone. Maybe it needs some text or some words to get the message across. Maybe you missed the photo opportunity. That would be me. I would forget that, oh, I was looking to follow up on this with social media. I should take some good images. Or maybe you're looking to combine a few photos into an eye-catching way rather than upload each photo individually. So that is where there are platforms available to use to help you do all these things. And the platform that I use that I find particularly good is Canva. So it's a web-based package, and it's completely free to use up to a certain level. And when I say certain level, it's really, I don't consider it that restrictive within the free package. There are, loads of free templates, images, 5 gig of cloud storage within it. There's loads of things you can do within that. There are obviously packages that you can then pay for. The Pro package is about £100 a year, and you then go up, obviously the number of templates and images that are available go up. You get up to 100 gigabyte of cloud storage, and you can also create a brand kit on the Pro package. So say you had texts or images or logos that was specific to you, you could then create that using the Pro package. But I'm just going to look tonight at the free package, because I think there's a lot that you can do with it. So what I am just going to do is I am going to just jump out the PowerPoint very quickly. I think that should be that. And then I'm just going to share. We're just going to go live into Canva and have a little look at what it looks like. So this is obviously, I'm now logged into my free account. If you were looking to set up an account, simply go to canva.com, and in the top right, there would be login, sign up, and you just need an email address and a password to create an account, and that is it. So then what can we do with it? Well, there's a number of options here alone. So these are our templates. Sorry, no, they're not, there are design types. So they are things, whether it be a poster, whether it be a logo, or if we click on social media here on the menu, it'll show us everything we can do. So we can create an Instagram post, a Facebook post, an Instagram story. And by picking a design type means you're going to get something that's in the right size and the right dimensions to use for the platform that you're then looking to take it onto. So let's say we were going to create an Instagram story. So I've decided my design type, I'm looking to create something really eye-catching for my Instagram story. So I've clicked on it. This then loads up essentially my working board, what I'm going to create it on. So at the moment it's blank, but I have a wealth of templates over here that I can pick from. So we're not going to go with coronavirus, because I think we hear enough about that. But a social media trend at the moment that I don't know if anybody else has seen is doing this or that. So quite often people are doing it on pages, even business pages, maybe to let people know more about themselves. So here's a nice template for this or that. So this is the shoe edition, but we can change anything about it. So we could have the farming version. Would we rather have sheep? Would we rather have cows? Simply click on any of the text, edit it as you wish. Delete the pictures, change the color schemes. You can really do anything with it. But what I particularly love about the templates is if you're not feeling particularly creative, it saves you having to start from blank and come up with something. There's something there that you can use that is really quite striking. So when I go to edit this, I've then got a plethora of menus on this side. So I could add text to it. There's obviously text already there, but I can add headings, subheadings, which automatically come in at certain sizes, but you can then edit those up the top here and edit your font type. But say, for example, you wanted something, let's say, you were selling your own farm produce at the farm gate and you were having a sale. So what you could quite simply do is type sale in, and then you would get loads of really eye-catching graphics that you can then insert onto your story or your graphic. So what that was then text. There's then elements, which have a wide range of things. These are if you're looking to maybe add, say for example here, you can add in moving items. So say you're really looking to grab somebody's attention, you can actually insert live things, or there's shapes if you want to put something into a frame. There's stickers. There really is so many different things you can use that saves you. It just basically saves you time. You're not having to start from scratch. There's so many things here that you can use. Bringing us back to, and if we don't have an image, there is basically a stock of photos, and it's not exaggerating when it says there is millions. So say, for example, here when I've used my account previously, I was needing to do a good luck message for a competition. So I literally searched good luck, and then I got these 3 little pictures of 4-leaf clovers, which is then what I used on the image, because, well, I didn't really have a picture that I could associate with that message, but at least it meant there was something on the post, and maybe it would mean it would pick up a few more sets of eyes. Say, for example, this is the one thing to note about free Canva and paid Canva. Say I was like, there was an important deadline coming up within that people needed to be made aware of, and I thought, right, I want to write the word important on this. I might go into my photos and I'd search important, and I got really good selection here, and I'm scrolling over and I think, oh, I quite like this one. Scroll your mouse over it, and in the bottom it'll tell you if it's free or if it's pro. If Canva Pro, you could then use that image. If you're on a free Canva, you would either have to upgrade to Canva Pro or pay 99 pence for that image. So I personally, for what I was sort of using it for, I wasn't looking to justify spending money on it. So I scrolled through any of the ones that I thought were really looking, and I'm like, pro. There was a bit of a theme. This one was free, but it didn't really get across the message I was looking for at all. That didn't grab me and think, oh, this is an important deadline, I need to read about this now. So your other option is to use uploads. So what I did was I went to a search engine, and I got from a search engine and from the photo stock websites that are, photos free and available to use, I got another image, saved it down to my computer, and then I put it into uploads. So I uploaded it. So you click uploads, you upload from your device, and you can upload any pictures you want. And they then save there automatically. They don't just save for this one graphic, they save for all your future graphics. So that means if you're, got logos that are applicable, then they upload them once, they're there, and then you literally just click on them and drag them across, and they can be added to any graphic. So it is important to check that about free and paid, and the same applies for when you're picking your templates back at the start. Some will be free. If they tend to, when you hover over them on templates, if they don't say free, it's a fair chance that they cost. But the way to double check is once you've finalized your image and you want to download it, and you hit download, and I know that I want to download my image, here we go. If there was a charge, it would tell me just along the bottom above the purple button, it would say premium image, and it would tell me what the charge was. So if you're ever in any doubt and thinking, I don't want to have to pay, just do that little double check any time before you spend time creating your image. So the good thing about here is it's saving all the time. So we can see here it says all changes saved. So therefore I know that has saved. So then I can close that off and go back to the main page. Sorry, the Zoom bar is in the way. Oh, we've lost. Where have I lost? There we go. The good thing then is that then all your designs are, so if I close that off now, when you come back to your homepage, all your designs will save. So they'll save here at the side, all your designs, and you really can store so many things in there. I'm not going to click on it at the moment because some things I've used Canva for, I've got people's names and pictures on. So from data protection, I'm not going to click on it. But say I was to go into all my designs, I could pull up something that I had designed previously. So here we go. This is an example here. So say again, it comes back to when we're talking about multiple businesses or multiple admins involved in businesses. If you set your Canva account up with maybe your business email address, then that means multiple people can come into it. So if you get a generic email and generic password, then it means, say there's something you've shared previously that you want to come back and do again, or you want to edit, you thought, oh, that was a really nice template that we had that last time. How do we get that back? Simply all your designs, You can either edit one you've got, you can make a copy so that you're not touching the previous one, but it's giving you time to it's giving you another option to tweak it to get something slightly different, but without having to spend all the time starting from scratch. So it really is a really good, you know, portal. There's so much stuff you can do in it. Logos as well, that's another thing I've used it for. So if you're looking to sort of try and get a bit of brand identity going and wanting, you know, to make a quick logo, you know, there's templates for that as well. So it really is a really good, it's, you know, for something that's completely free, there's so much to do with it, and it really does make some eye-catching content. So I'm just going to stop sharing the Canva at the moment, and hopefully Kerry can reshare the PowerPoint for us. Excellent, thank you, Kerry. And what we're now just going to look at is video options. So I'll just get a wee bit control back on this PowerPoint, and then we'll go and take a look. But by all means, if there's any questions as we're going along, fire away and we can pick them up at the end. So pictures are worth 1,000 words, and we've heard it already here tonight, but a video is also a very powerful tool if it is used right. So studies show that, oh, sorry, Kerry, I think we've lost the PowerPoint. So yeah, studies show that a video gets 1,200% more shares, comments, etc. than what text and images alone do. So not all content and messages are suitable for video, but where they are, it can be a really powerful tool. So I'm just going to note you through a few programs that I've used. There are so many out there to help you make videos. I don't consider myself that technological, but even I've managed to put together a few videos, and it really is just a case of finding an app and having a go. You can stitch lots of different images, sort of video clips together. So the ones I have used, I find iMovie particularly easy and user-friendly. I would use that on my phone. It's obviously Apple technology only, but I quite like that where the content's already on my phone, say it's images or such like, it's quite quick and easy. The other one that's suitable for Apple technology that came recommended to me as having a bit more functionality than iMovie was Splice. And you do hear, particularly on Instagram, quite a few people using that. But what put me off that is you get 7 days for free and then there's a weekly charge. And I just felt for my level of usage, I couldn't justify that. So that's why I've never tried that one, but it does come quite highly recommended. My laptop is then Windows based, so I needed to find something that would work on Windows. So for anybody who's like me and is working on Windows, you'll maybe notice when you log in, you'll see this symbol of Windows Movie Maker. It comes along the bottom toolbar. And I thought, oh great, one here, there's something already downloaded. And I got on okay to begin with it. But what I did notice is I had an issue just maybe in the last month or two. And upon trying to search for a way to rectify this issue, I actually found that Windows Movie Maker was designed for Windows 7. And now that Windows are on Windows 10, they have stopped the support for that program. So therefore, if there's any bugs or anything, it's not going to get picked up. And it seemed a lot of people had this same issue as me, where I'd imported a video clip, and I had the sound, but I didn't have the picture. So it was of cows, ironically, and I had lots of mooing, but I couldn't see a single cow. And yeah, a lot of people seem to have this same issue. So it's just a small health warning with that one. And the one I found in place of it that works very well is a Mini Tool Movie Maker. So again, completely free to download, and again, really easy to work. I didn't, literally a lot of things, the functionality looks the same. So once you've been in one, you'll find you're able to pick up others. But again, I just had the files saved down to my laptop, uploaded them, and then you can cut them to length. You can add sound over the top. You can add text. You can mute out background noise. That one I find particularly easy on Mini Tool Movie Maker. It's literally one click, and if there's any anybody chatting in the background or something of your video footage that you don't want, you can just mute it all out. And there's another couple of Movavi and Vimeo as well that I've heard of people using but not used personally myself. So that was just a few kind of wee tips if anybody was looking to make some videos but wasn't sure how to get started.
We've had a question about Canva, Mary. So if you download a design from Canva, how do you then upload it to Instagram?
Okay. So your easiest way, or what I prefer to download from as a JPEG or a PNG file, I find Canva much easier to work with on a desktop than on a phone. It is possible on a phone, but it tends to condense everything. So it means the buttons for the different menus are all very close together and you end up clicking on the wrong one. But what I tend to do if I want to upload from my phone, and it's probably slightly long way round about, but I would download it on my laptop and I actually just email the file to myself, and then from go into my emails on my phone, save the image down to your phone, and then it would literally be when you go onto Instagram and you're making your post, uploading, you would then be able to upload the image from your camera roll there. There is, if you're on the Pro package, you can put it straight on to the social media platforms, but that is probably the easiest way when you're not on that, is even if it's not emailing it to yourself, somehow transferring it probably then onto your mobile device, or even, to be honest, you could create the image on Canva on your desktop and log into Canva on your phone, and it should be easy enough to download from Canva direct off your phone, but it's just the creation part that's not that easy. But hopefully that answers your question, but if not, feel free to come back to me at the end and we can answer that in more detail. So just a few tips then about making videos and things to think about. Landscape, so record with your phone or device landscape. And this, it just means that when your video is finalised, rather than only filling a little bit of the screen, it'll fill the screen better when somebody's watching it, and it'll give them a much better quality of final video. I was very conscious there to record with your phone or device landscape, because I was doing a bit of footage for a video just last week, and multiple people got asked to contribute to this video, and we all just got a text that said record landscape, which to me, I was like, right, yep, got that. But one of the other chaps who got the same text thought it meant get a nice landscape behind you. So he went to a lot of effort to make sure he was stood in his field, and he had some lovely North Perthshire hills behind him, but that wasn't really what we meant. He still had the phone the wrong way round. So yeah, I was very careful with my word choice there tonight. Yeah, keep your videos short as well. For social media, about 2 minutes is the ideal length. So people, when they're on social media, they're looking just to dip in, dip out, get some catchy, short, punchy messages, and that's really what you need to get across in your videos. On that short, punchy message, make sure to get those good messages in early. Capture their attention early. I know in a lot of life I save the best to last, particularly when, eating my Easter egg or something. I like to keep the best bit of chocolate to last. But when videos and social media, that doesn't work quite so well. If you imagine somebody scrolling through, you need to get your most captivating messages, images, or content right at the start, so that they stop scrolling and think, hold on here, this is something I should look at, this is something I should watch. Keep your message simple as well, probably links into keeping it short. Don't try and do 6 things in one video, because the chances are you're going to lose the person who's watching. So, focus on one message. What is that message you want to get across? And come back next week, a few days later, with another video if there's another message that you need to get across. But don't try and do everything in one video. The interesting one is design for sound off. Normally, one of my favourite bits is adding a nice soundtrack on. Quite often in these video editing apps, you'll get a list of soundtracks, quite catchy tunes that you can add, and I quite like listening to them all, selecting one. But actually, on Facebook, 85% of the videos are played without sound. So I suppose we need to think that people listen to videos everywhere. They could be on a bus, they could be on a train, they could be at work. So they're not necessarily going to want to listen with the sound playing. So for you in creating video content, the most important thing to remember is make sure your story works with or without sound. So even if your pictures are great, if the main message is in the voiceover or the sound that goes with it, then you're going to lose 85% of those people who are watching it without sound. So that's where you can add your captions or text when you're creating your video to make sure that your video works both with and without sound. And that was really the main things I wanted to mention about creating the content. But if there are any questions, please do fire them away now. And likewise, we can unmute also at the end and have a bit of discussion if anything comes to anybody.
Thanks, Mary. There was one other question, two other questions. We'll go. So this is specifically about the captions. So can subtitles be added to videos, and do you have any advice on how to add those captions to videos?
Okay, so yeah, the sort of text I've only ever added before has been sort of small phrases that I've typed in myself. I haven't added full captions before. Part of me thinks that Facebook is now maybe auto adding captions, which means it doesn't always get it right. But I am not actually sure. But what I might do is I might take a wee note of that as something to look into. And if I find any information on, we can maybe include a link to in the follow-up email tomorrow that's going to have a few bits and pieces in. So yeah, if you leave that one with me, shall we say.
Thank you. And there was another question from Carol, which is about administrative rights on an Instagram page. Would you like me to answer that?
Yes, if you would, that'd be fab.
So the question was, can more than one person have administrative rights to an Instagram page? The answer is yes, but it is slightly more complicated than it is with Facebook. So with Facebook, you add somebody as an admin and they effectively just administrate the account in the same way as you. For Instagram, there are 3 different ways that you can do it, and it depends what you want that person to do. I think the most simple way to do it is if you have an Instagram for business account, you have a business manager section in your Instagram account. You can add individual people to that, which then allows you to assign them roles. And that means you can choose, are they allowed to message customers? Are they allowed to respond to messages? It also, are they allowed to post content to the grid? Are they allowed to create stories and post them? Or do you have to sign off everything that they post before it goes up? There are also ways to add people to advertise on Instagram, and you can change the page roles as well. But I won't spend too much time discussing those just now, but if you want to come back to it at the end, then I'm very happy to do that one-on-one, or I can expand on that a little bit more. Yvonne, I'm going to pick your question up at the end, if that's okay. And Mary, I've got about 400 windows open, so I'm going to just close the chat box just now if you're okay to keep an eye on it.
No problem at all.
So I get asked very regularly, when is the best time to post? So you have done all the work, you've done your hashtag research, you've looked at, you've gone out, you've taken the photo or filmed the video, you've gone on to Canva, you've created your campaign, you've put, graphics, moving stickers, you've done the whole shebang, and then you're left with this piece of content and you don't actually know when you should be putting stuff out there. So this is statistics from Sprout Social, which is a social measurement company. So Instagram consumer goods engagement. So this is people who want to purchase, buy, who want to interact with businesses, the highest engagement that they see on average is between 3 and 4 p.m. on a Wednesday. So I would definitely schedule some of your posts for that point. And you'll see, unsurprisingly, the lowest engagement falls around about 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Facebook global engagement is really not too far different. Interestingly, Wednesdays and Fridays, the same with Instagram, Wednesdays and Fridays are the strongest days for engagement. What you should do with this, or how this should help you make decisions, I would say if you struggle to regularly post content, I would use a content management system. So Sprout Social is one example of a content management system. There's also Hootsuite, which is free. And there are loads of other content management systems available. But what these do is they allow you at the start of the week or the month to input the video, photos, graphics, whatever it is, whatever your content is that you want to post, and you can automatically set them to post at 3:30 p.m. on a Wednesday, 2:30 p.m. on a Friday, and 2 p.m. on a Sunday for Instagram. You can tailor your post to go out when your audience are the most engaged. And that's obviously going to give you, by default, the highest level of engagement you can get. The other thing I would always advise people to do is, in the beginning, experiment a little bit with your post timings. So maybe change your Wednesday post from 3 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and then see what the difference in engagement is. That's just a way for you to prove the theory that you're posting at the right times. And the last thing I was going to discuss today is the think checklist. So this is something that, whether you're using Instagram for business or for personal, this is a quick checklist to apply to any post, anything that you are going to put out into the world to exist forever. I would say, particularly if it's a heated topic, if vegans are involved, wait before you post, and make sure that whether it's a comment, whether it's content, whether it's a story, ask yourself, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring, necessary, and kind? Because really the only things that you want to be putting out onto the internet as an example of who you are as a person, you want it to be those things. If you're not sure that your post is true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, or kind, I'd advise you to wait again before posting it and double check it. And that might be double checking for fact accuracy, but it might also be double checking with somebody that your post actually says what you want it to say, or that somebody who reads it is going to understand where you're coming from.
So Kerry, just before we round up, there's Yvonne's question, and there's also one more question came in there. So if we'll go with the Facebook page one first, which is Facebook page insights. The useful or not, and what should the focus on them be?
Yes and no would be the answer you probably don't want from me on if Facebook Insights are useful. I think it depends. Everything will depend on what you're trying to achieve. If you're not measuring anything at the moment, then Facebook Insights is going to be a huge amount of information and a huge step forward from where you are. Everyone probably remembers the saying, nothing managed, nothing, I actually don't remember it. But in order to ensure that what you're doing on social media, that the time, the resource, everything that you're putting into it is being put into the right places, then Facebook Insights will be able to tell you this post did really well at this time with this group of people, and it kind of reassures you that what you're doing is the right thing. There are some of the companies I mentioned earlier, like Sprout Social, Hootsuite to a certain extent, and other companies do more in-depth insights and analysis. So if you're at the point where you think, okay, Facebook Insights is fine, but I need more information and I need to know more about what's happening in my industry, that's the point at which I would probably advise going to a specialist insights third-party app.
Okay, that's great, thank you. And then Vaughn's question was, are blogs an advantage and which platform are they based on?
Really good question. And it's, a blog is definitely an advantage to you if you have a lot to say and if you don't struggle to create the content to go onto them. So if you're, forever, writing recipes or writing stories or journaling about what's happening in your business, then to use that as a marketing tool is a really smart thing to do. As for platform, a WordPress blog is absolutely fine. WordPress is free. It's very, very easy to use. It's publicly hosted. The reason that a blog is helpful when it comes to marketing is because you can click in and out of it. So as I said at the beginning, don't use Facebook as your blog page. You can then link to your WordPress page and say, this is the message that I want to give you. And the people who want to engage with it will engage with it. And that's a really good thing. The tougher thing about blogs is if you're not automatically creating all of that content, if you start a blog and abandon it a month later, that's potentially more damaging to your audience and to the algorithm than if you never started one in the first place. So it is, it's as big as marriage. If you're going to start a blog, you have to be damn serious about it. And the other thing I would possibly advise you to consider is vlogging rather than blogging. So it's much easier to think about posting stories on Facebook or Instagram to get that message across. You can just say it as it is. There's much less planning. There's a lot less commitment involved in it. And you're effectively doing the same thing.
That's excellent, thank you, Kerry. I'm conscious of time, so if there are any other questions, please type them away at the moment. But in the meantime, I'll just round up a few key messages that hopefully we'll all go away with from tonight. So in social media, we should think about pictures, not words. Our content is gold. Get the good quality images and content to grab people's eyes. Get liking on Facebook or get commenting on Instagram of similar businesses to increase your audience. If you're creating a business page, make sure and get your business up to date with Google Registry so you can use Geotagging. And as well, remember about multiple admins and pages managers to help make your life a little bit easier. When we're on Twitter, let's think about our @ tags and our hashtags and get them good quality to really benefit where our content reaches. Think about our times. Wednesday and Friday seem good days, who knows why, but bear that in mind. Have a bit of trial and error with your posting times, and if you're like me and you're likely to forget, then use some of your the scheduling tools and programs as well. But I really do hope you have found tonight beneficial, and I'd like to thank Kerry for her contributions. I know I've certainly learnt some things.